The world has been talking about China for decades. Trade, TikTok, Chinese EV, and AI rivalry. However, most Western professionals I've met still don't know what a middle class family in Shanghai actually worries about. Why are young Chinese consumers suddenly obsessed with emotional value and walking away from luxury logos? Why are some of the biggest trends in China today not about buying more, but buying less? Western companies talking about China as a strategy problem, but it's actually a society undergoing one of the fastest psychological and cultural transformation in modern history. And if you're only reading the headlines, you're missing the real story. This podcast is about understanding China through conversation, stories, and signals hidden behind everyday life. And we will share those details you may not have time in the boardroom agenda. I am Freda Wang, and this is China Actually. Hi, I'm Freda.
This is Olive.
Hi, Olive. Remember when long time ago, foreign car brands were used to be dreams of Chinese consumers, and that dramatically changed. Do you still remember at the time our aspirational car brands, say 15 years ago, 20 years ago?
Many foreign JV brands actually are a good dream car at that time. Dream car as affordable, I can buy using my salary savings. Not talking about fancy Lamborghini. I'm talking about the one I can reach. So at that time, Volkswagen, Toyota, Nissan, even BMW were my dream car at that time.
Yeah, I remember Japanese car brands represent reliability. And I love at the time was Honda. Anything Honda, I could probably start from Civic and upwards. So at that time, and that's when we're talking about 1990s and early 2000s, foreign brands representing quite different things, right? When we talk about Japanese cars, they are reliability and safety.
Yes, quality. German brands also represent quality, durability. Yeah, and American brands represent muscle, power, etc.
True. And remember at that time, I think that would be the 90s or 80s. Volkswagen Santana now is discontinued. That was the first official car of the government officials and business leaders at that time.
Yes.
Was so proud to be sitting in one of those cars, not to mention driving around one.
Yes, and my brother used that car as his wedding car. Can you believe
Yes.
it?
Yeah. And then that turned
Later
into
on, it
Audi,
became a
right? So
taxi.
yeah,
Yeah.
then Santana became taxi, and then Audi became the official wedding fleet, and also American cars, Buick, associated with business executives. That was
Yes.
all before the Chinese brand becoming a choice for consumers.
Yeah.
So what happened? What do you think? When was the turning point? When did Chinese brands starting to be visible, more visible in China?
I think just past 5 years, let's say when the electric car, EV, become more and more popular. And that takes the market share of foreign brands so quick.
That's
And
true.
this year, like up to May 2026, May, half of the passenger vehicle are local brand, EV brands.
Yeah, true. I was looking at a higher level statistic data back in 2015. The Chinese brands collectively represent less than 40% of the Chinese passenger vehicle market share, and 2025 it reached to 70%. So that change is becoming so dramatic. There was kind of assumption, or I would say belief, when I read Western media. Number one is Chinese consumer buy Chinese car because of nationalism, patriotism. And two is Chinese brands are copying. Most people say when they look at Chinese product in general, there are copycats of foreign brands. And the other one is Chinese consumer, because they're so cost driven, they're looking for cheaper alternatives, and therefore they arrive to Chinese brands. Let's look at every one of them.
Yeah, let's tackle these three assumptions one by one. First, let's talk about the nationalism. And I don't think so, because for the price, the cost of a car is 1 year salary, household salary of a Chinese family, normally. So which means if your annual income, let's say, is 200,000 RMB, the family buy is around 240,000 or 180,000, around that price range. So it's lots of money for Chinese consumers. And people won't buy such big ticket item just because it's a Chinese brand. I don't think so. Partially, yes, the nationalism more coming from China brands actually have better quality, better design, more features, better products. Not just purely because I love Chinese brand, therefore I buy Chinese products. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't believe Chinese consumers dislike foreign brands. They just looking at different things, right? They're looking at technology, better fuel economy, and also intelligence features, which a lot of foreign brands they don't have.
Exactly. Totally agree. Yes. So if you look at the EV products, recent EV, they have a second row, like face-to-face mode. They can roll in the second row seats.
Yes.
So then they can facing back to the third row for MPV or for, so that's the things you don't see on foreign brands. And also these panorama roof and privacy, windows, all kinds of fancy features. You only see them on Chinese EV cars.
So, yes, like you said, the privacy glass, which you can't really see from outside, that's a luxury feature you have to pay an option when it comes to foreign brands. But in Chinese vehicles, they are most common standard, right?
And also recently I saw for SUV, they have a split rear door. So for the trunk, the door can open split. So
Yes.
half go up and half go flat. So people use that for fishing.
Yes, and for fishing. For fishing, how does that work?
So the lower part becomes a seat. So the SUV can drive to the riverside.
Ah, yes. So you open top and down, so the lower door of your trunk becoming your seat. Yes, and I remember I saw that, and they talk about the weight carrying. So it can carry couple people's weight. You could actually sit there, and that's actually responding to the Chinese consumers' lifestyle change to more outdoor activities, camping, glamping, fishing, all of that. So the vehicle coming with a lot of functionalities for those lifestyles.
Yes, yes. And the second row, third row seats can turn flat so people can sleep in it. Because for EV, you don't need to worry about the air. It's very comfortable. You can sleep there, take a nap, watch a movie when you're waiting for kids to get off the school.
Early this year, I was going around Chinese brands showroom to test drive vehicles. And I noticed one thing when we talk about in S-Class, that kind of a level, we talk about first class lounge seat, which only have at the rear, right? So you could really lie flat. All the rear seats you could lie flat, and it's like a first class cabin in an airplane. But now every Chinese EV you go testing, is every seat, front and back, every seat is you can lie flat. It's a first class cabin seats coming standard.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Wow.
And the zero weight seats.
Yes.
So yeah.
This is when we talk about luxury, right? We're talking about luxury features for S-Class, Range Rover, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, and that you have these kind of luxury feelings. But that now is for a 40,000 Chinese EV brand. So
Yes.
when you're facing these choices, it's only the advantages on the features offering that attracted the Chinese consumers. It's nothing more than that. No ideology, no nationalism, patriotism come to play in this decision.
It's purely about the quality.
Yeah.
And earlier we talked about some of the features, and even talking about the luxury, the leather, the stitching, craftsmanship. It's also comparable to these luxury brands.
Yes. I remember Napa leather 10 years ago used to be very, very prestigious materials used in high luxury vehicles, but now at a higher price, Chinese EV are actually equipped with that.
Yes.
So,
and Alcantara for sporty models. Yeah.
That's right. So we have already starting to address the second misunderstanding or misperception of saying Chinese brands are cheaper alternative to Western brands, which are not true. The premium level and luxuries feeling used to be a symbol for foreign brands. Now it's no longer there.
Actually, Chinese brands are getting more expensive than JV brands, especially EV comparing with ICE cars. So earlier you mentioned Zeekr 9X. It's about 20,000 to 80,000 US dollar.
Which line is it equivalent to?
9X, that's the
bigger
SUV.
one. Yeah, the bigger
Yeah,
one.
the bigger SUV. Yeah.
Yes.
And its MPV even more expensive.
Yes, I test drive actually that X9 when they first came out earlier this year. And the intelligent driving, the autonomous driving mode is really, really cool. It's really good.
Yes. So it's not cheap alternative. The feature, the quality, everything actually is a lot better than these. I don't know in Canada or US, 70,000, what kind of car you can buy.
You know, I was looking into updating my car, changing my car, and the latest model of GLC is priced 80,000 Canadian dollars. Can you believe that?
Yeah. So if you compare these two cars, in terms of size, craftsmanship, feature, everything, I would say Zeekr is much better.
Yeah, it's not at the same level. Zeekr X9 is a GLS level in terms of the material, the
size,
quality, the size, and the luxury features, and plus, right, intelligent driving features are absolutely not there with the foreign brands. So
yes. That's why I saw lots of previous luxury consumers like Mercedes-Benz owner, even Porsche owner, actually, when they change their car, they change towards the local Chinese brands.
True. And what do you think of that? Are they kind of dislike the foreign brands now? What's the motivation behind this?
They can afford all kinds of car as long as they want. So I'll say it's still the product. And in terms, other than brands, even the comfortness, the EV car, everyone says once you drove the EV, you can't go back to the ICE cars. So that's one thing. And also in terms of the feature wise, earlier we talked about some fancy features, but they are also lots of convenient features. Recently, I studied a keyless entrance for that feature. So basically, you can use your cell phone using the NFC or Bluetooth to connect the door. So for this feature, first of all EV, even like 100,000 RMB EV Chinese brand, let's say 20,000 Canadian dollar, that level car has it. But Mercedes doesn't have that, and Porsche doesn't have that. So, and it's a big deal to lots of consumers because to them it's like it's such simple feature that brings consumer lots of convenience because they don't need to bring their keys, and also there's a key sharing, also remote control to turn on AC or open the door, window, etc. Lots of features. But I mean, for these rich people, they still want the comfortness and the convenience, not only the brand name to just show off the label.
Yeah, that's true. And so the Chinese EV kind of offering both with the
Yeah.
convenience, luxury, plus the intelligent features, all of that. I remember when Tesla first came out, none of the Chinese EV was there yet. Very early, probably in 15 or before 2020, absolutely, in China. And the first group of buyers of Tesla were actually those wealthy individuals who own the Bentleys and Mercedes Range Rover. So they were the first one trying out Tesla. And what do you think the attractiveness of Tesla to these group of people then?
If you're comparing the model level, Tesla Model Y is still the top 10 models in China. So that also shows it has nothing to do with nationalism. Tesla is better product, so people will buy it, even without FSD, because FSD, we can't use it here.
True. So the same goes to the first group of consumers buying them. They were attracted by innovation, right? The new features. So, and then all the Chinese brands follow through with more innovative features included. Now, the problem with the traditional OEM, foreign brands, that is the gap they had, right? So they were late or no present in offering innovative features in their cars.
Agree. Yes. I think these foreign brands, first of all, their decision is slow. Also, they slow to follow Chinese consumers' trends. And the third reason, I don't know whether how true it is. It's just my assumption that they are too proud to go to the EV market. They're still stuck in the ICE. Yeah. So it's more like a Nokia time versus iPhone time.
Sure. The Chinese consumer preferences, behaviors change dramatically actually after the iPhone and smartphone period. And if you look at beyond the car industry, you look at mobile phone industry, the Chinese mobile phones offering huge advantage also beyond what iPhone can offer. And that kind of train the Chinese consumers. Their expectations are different. They want more digitization. They want more convenience features. And that translates to the EV offering.
Yeah, like a threefold phone. And even for these iRobot, the Chinese brand, they actually have more features, like they can automatically go back to the place to charge. And not only just sweep the floor, and they can also wet mop the floor. So lots of fancy features here, even for FMCG products like milk tea or coffee. Here you can find so many different flavor coffee or different flavor Americano, right? So that's the innovation, I think, drive Chinese consumers to favor more local brands.
That's true. So we addressed the patriotism issue. That's absolutely not there. And also, if we're saying the cheaper alternative is also not true, price actually is maybe higher in some segments, some of the models. And the last one is copycat. What Western media is saying, let's just stick with the cars. They're copycats of the foreign brands. Do you see any evidence against that?
I'll say exterior wise, I saw some cars looks quite similar to the super luxury foreign brands.
We all know what we're talking about.
Yes, but in terms of the product itself, I think it's just not only the exterior or interior, it's more than that. So also just one or two brands are doing that. But if you look at so many Chinese brands, I don't think it's fair to say all Chinese brands are copycat.
From exterior design, I totally see what you're saying. And actually, there's a one or two, I probably stick with one, that is just openly copying the design of other foreign models. The other Chinese brands, what I noticed, they have hired international designers for exterior designs. They came from the Italian brands or German brands. Now they're working for the Chinese brands in terms of design.
Yes. These OEMs all hiring foreign or especially European designers.
Mm-hmm. And if we're saying copying, I would see the alternative. The opposite of that is a Volkswagen working now joint venture with Xiaopeng, Xpeng technology. So I start to see the evidence of China exporting their technological know-hows in the intelligent vehicle area to Western brands.
Yeah. And the Ling Pao with Stellantis. I'll say in 90s, when I just graduated at that time, all these foreign brands just came to China. To me, these brands represent innovation. And a lot of things I haven't seen. Even at that time, we don't have shampoo, we use soap. So all these things are, to me, is innovative. But somehow these foreign brands just stay there. And maybe that's one of the arrogance. They just feel that these products can still selling well in the other market. But China market grows so fast. And like we said last time, China market, Chinese consumer, Chinese brands are all having these racing competition. So under that environment, every brands are thinking about innovation. So that's drive Chinese brands growing so fast.
Yeah. So I totally agree. When we were younger, the foreign brands are representing something new, innovation, and quite aspirational because they brought in new category of things. And now it's totally different. The innovation comes from within China. So now what happens when now the Chinese consumers no longer believe foreign brands automatically means better, innovative, modern? What can they do?
I won't say Chinese consumers don't believe foreign brands. It's more like a foreign brands need to bring something new. Just need to show us something different. So if there's no differentiation, then they will always fall into the price competition trap. And in that case, China have such strong supply chain. Foreign brands can't win, even without these tariffs things. But I still see some foreign brands are doing well here. Like one of the beer brands, they are having different flavor of beer, like a coffee flavored, apple flavored. So this is their new trials.
So you're saying foreign brands need to respond to the different lifestyle needs in China and to come out with a new product that fits those requirements.
And also one thing you just remind me, it's not only products, even talking about resonate with Chinese consumers' emotional needs. Previously, like earlier, these brands are talking about like being confident. Once you use the shampoo, your hair is waving and brings you confidence. But nowadays, Chinese consumers are quite confident on that. Yeah. So we need to study consumers' emotional needs in depth to understand more. It's just not just single consumer emotional needs.
Do you have any examples come to mind that a foreign brand do well in China?
I'm not sure whether that's truly relevant or not, but just popped to my head. Adidas recently have this commercial talking about saying run errands in city. but because the translation actually literally translating, and it becomes doing things in the city. So the meaning is completely different. It sounds like peasants going to city doing something. But the original wording was run errands in city. That's saying the Adidas, you can use it for different occasions. But when then Chinese consumers are saying, oh, okay, this is improper translation. And Adidas quickly echo back and print lots of run errands on their t-shirts, on billboard, and basically laugh at themselves. So
what's the Chinese slogan?
进城办事儿.
Oh, 进城办事儿. But what was the run errands in the city? They translate into 进城办事儿, which is a farmer go to from the village
even
to the
peasants,
city.
and not only farmers.
Sorry to the farmers. It's peasants. Actually, it's really looking down on people. That kind of language.
Yes.
However, their PR kind of using that to humor them, actually becoming quite popular. That's interesting. That's a fun fact.
Yeah. So basically, the brand is not teaching live like that. Basically, the brand equally to the consumers and allow and humor
So
themselves.
A consumer coming out to opportunity, maybe turn something better, just joke about it, actually bring them more and eventually sales.
Yeah. And don't be so arrogant, and don't feel that the international brands are superior.
Brands, actually, a lot of those foreign brands, they just see themselves as superior, and they come in and say, okay, this is not a permanent trend of Chinese consumer, and it's gonna pass. I would do what I do. I will eventually successful. And that is killing mindset of the foreign brands. Yeah.
No, I think today all we talk about is be innovative. Just be innovative, right? And to study Chinese consumer more.
But let's leave these thoughts for our audience. In this environment, when Chinese consumer constantly looking for innovative products, what a foreign brands should do. Once they were successful, now they are losing ground. What can they do to change that? And leave a note in our comments, and we will maybe discuss with you next time.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Olive. Talk next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.